What is up? What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's happy hour after a beautiful weekend. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know the Tigers did. I know I did. I know a lot of people did, and I know a lot of people didn't. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. It's going to be a beautiful show on Johnny Radio's happy hour. Y'all know who I am. Your sports mixologist, John Harden. And I'm very lucky to have my good buddy, Gabe Kuhn. Usually he does so much. So much. But usually he doesn't have to remind me that my show is starting. Thank you for that one. Because, yes, I was outside just doing my thing.
I'll say it's a slow Monday for everyone. Mount Moriah, we've had the tornadoes run through here. Praying for anybody who has damage to their homes, damage to their businesses. I hope it all works out. But, yeah, it's been a very slow, tough Monday for a lot of people.
It's been I mean, you know about the tornadoes and all the wildness from the weather, but then also the wildness from the weekend. And then, by the way, I got a weird question. And I'm about to get into some serious sports because when I say we got to talk about some serious sports, and one of the first things I want to ask y'all is, y'all know fake outrage is something that bothers me more than anything. It's something I didn't even understand, and I have to give all the credit for Rob Fisher, who used to be on these airwaves during Fish and Stats. He used to talk about fake outrage, and I honestly didn't get him. I just did not understand what fake outrage really. I was like, what's he talking about? And then he pointed out a bunch of, situations, and then you start seeing it. Because when you learn something, unfortunately, you start seeing a lot of it. And I saw so much fake outrage, I truly believe, this weekend for Jeremy Pruitt and the whole Jared Guarantano situation. But then there's also some very, 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 very nice and astute people who asked me some very difficult questions. I happened to also read the 5 at 10 by Jay Greason of the Times Free Press today, who actually also talked about the situation on another level. So again, this is something that I know I'm not the only person that's been talking about it, but I want to know this. Am I making a mistake and thinking this is fake outrage, or is there real outrage here and I just haven't seen it? Like, that's what I'm asking y'all today. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, before I get into some other fun stuff, I just want to ask y'all, if you don't know anything what I'm talking about, my man, y'all know Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa got injured. Alabama won 35-13, kind of in a ugly football game for both teams, I would say. Neither team was exceptionally well. At the end of the game, if you don't know about it, Jarrett, he fumbled the football on Bama's goal line. Dude picks it up, takes it 100 yards, touchdown, Bama! And my man Guarantano runs to the sideline, and what do you think happens? Pruitt grabs him by his face mask and goes banana sandwiches.
Okay, I think grabbing the face mask is ridiculous, but he grabbed it for like 3 seconds and then let go immediately and knew he had effed up.
Yep.
Big time. So that's where I was at. I don't think that should ever be done, but at the same time, like, he clearly realized immediately what he had done was wrong.
Well, immediately, of course, on Twitter, everybody was calling for his job and how you can't put your hands on. People were reacting in such a way that I was saying, listen, old school football is going to take a little bit of time to get out of the, like you just can't erase old school football. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still going to be some of these things that pop up, muscle memory or whatever you call it. But then somebody asked the question, and this is what I want you to hear, Gabe, and I'm basically stealing this from my man Jay, because he put this in his article. And he says, and this is where I started thinking about it. He says, at first, like for me, again, I thought it was fake outrage. I thought it was just the people who are against football, against Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt, just want to, you know what I'm saying? If you looked at by the way,
against Pruitt, you said against football.
No.
Okay, all right.
The people, if you look at it, like CTE specialist, the dude who quit playing football after 1 year was Bruce Hart or whatever. Like, a lot of the people who are commenting are some of the people who are seriously like, we have to get rid of football. And they weren't even using it. And they were using. That's what I was saying. That's why I was.
Yeah, well, that's ridiculous.
I was calling
that is
it
absolutely
fake
ridiculous.
outrage completely. It was taking it to an extreme. They're like, look at this. You still got barbarians teaching young kids, grabbing them by the face mask. And there were like questions. Ask yourself if you went to work, if your coach did that. I mean, if your boss did that to you, how things would work out. And there's people who are asking, what if Jaron Guarantano lost his cool and then punched him back? And this is where I'm so glad I have Gabe because he recently played. I guess that's the thing that a lot of people, if you don't play the sports, you don't understand. I promise you ain't going to hit your coach. At least anybody that
well, I've seen it come close. I've seen it come close, but at the same time, you don't. But
well, you won't play
Guarantano, I'm not going to guarantee it, but I got to imagine he's not all bent out of shape about it.
I bet you
it was a quick little grab. Pruitt realized immediately what he had done was wrong. And that's the thing I want to point to here, because, like, it's not like he was grabbing him and absolutely chewing him out for minutes at a time and
I've seen
controlling him with his face mask.
Getting screamed at much worse. They just didn't put their hands on him, and we don't even talk about it. Do you see what I'm saying, Gabe? I mean, I'm trying to think of the young man who got lit up
now,
like a Christmas tree.
Personally, like when I was a young kid and like youth football coming up, I had a coach who grabbed a kid by the face mask. And that coach was asked not to
constantly practice.
No, but I will say this: my age, my generation of people took offense to that, and that coach was asked not to come back. So this is something that is not acceptable, I don't think, and I think there's some outrage that needs to be had. But when you look at the level of football they're playing, the emotions running high, I don't think we need to absolutely kill Jeremy Pruitt for grabbing his face mask for a split second. I just don't think it's that serious of a thing against him.
I agree. And the other thing I was going to say is we demand our players to be physical in this sport. We demand this sport to be absolutely. I mean, when you think about what these guys do, it's literally car crashes in between each whistle, okay? But once the whistle blows, the car crash has to end. You know what I'm saying? And don't tell me if you're watching a game of car crashes and a game that's so physical and you're demanding your team to be physical, you're a coach. You can kind of lose it. I mean, I can understand you being emotionally invested in this ball game.
Just in the future,
you have to
don't make physical contact.
Yeah, you just have to learn it. That's something
verbal.
That's got to be
make it verbal.
You can't have it.
You can't touch him because then this is going to happen.
But again, this is where I was going to say.
I just don't think it's a big deal.
This is where I was going to say is you can or can you not touch him really? Like, I mean, I'm talking about, it's not like, I mean, he didn't yank him. He didn't do anything. He just kind of like, it felt like he touched him and it was like, look at me. I'm talking to you. Like, this ain't no joke. I wasn't like, it never I mean, it wasn't like he grabbed him and threw him to the ground. It's not like he pulled his head. I mean, again, dude, have you watched a football game and have you ever seen a face mask? I've seen a dude's head twisted off. Now the quarterback's coming off and he's like, hey, look at me. And like, dude, where's he going to grab him? By the jock? I hope not. That'd be nasty. I mean, listen, CJ's over here all the places. Hey, I'm just saying the face mask is better than the jock, isn't it? At least I'm trying to give you one place it's better than.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know about that one. I don't know if we can make this argument. I don't know. Should we move on now? Should we move on?
No, but I just want to ask you, is this real outrage or is this fake outrage? I don't know. And this is where
here's where I'm at. I think there's certain times where a coach does something like this and people should be somewhat outraged. But I think it's more fake, just given that it was something he realized immediately he shouldn't have done. And I don't really think it was that bad. Like, in the end of the day, if he would have held on and started controlling him by it and throwing him around, then maybe.
The question is.
But I don't think you make physical contact in the end of the day.
I hear you, but this is also a question. We also have to understand a line. Impassioned coach, Woody Hayes. Where does Pruitt fall in that? Impassioned coach, or is he closer to Woody Hayes? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying is, and again, it's hard. The new school, like, you aren't going to see Sean McVay do this. You're not going to see, now, I have seen Sean Payton, by the way, light up some people, by the way, so, like, I can't go there. But I'm saying, and yes, y'all know Rams fan, y'all have seen Sean Payton go absolutely banana sandwiches on some people. But, like my man Dick Vermeil, at the end of his career when he was with the Rams and stuff, he would cry more likely than he would yell at you. You know what I'm saying? So there are even coaches from the past that are not going to do that. But there are once in a while those coaches who feel the need because they're so emotionally invested. They want they want it so bad. They want their team to want it so bad. And again, I think every single situation should be basically every situation should be judged on each situation. And I'm serious by this. Like, we watch football, and if you like touch the person's face mask barely, like there was one play where the guy cut back and he like reached out and his like fingertip touched the face mask, and he never ever even tackled the guy, but they called a 15-yard penalty. That dude never jerked the helmet. You know what I'm saying? His little finger just touched the face mask, 15-yard penalty. You blow on a quarterback, 15-yard penalty. Touching a person, is this a blow on the quarterback for a coach type penalty and the defense is getting a 15-yard penalty? Or is this young man, is this young coach at Tennessee because of, they got a big win at Mississippi State. Tua is out of the game. They're trying to fight with Alabama. And then the big play that kills Tennessee and just basically puts the nail in the coffin, and Pruitt lost it for a second. But again, I just didn't see, I guess, for me, it didn't seem violent is what I'm trying to say. Like, it looked like a coach trying to ask the quarterback, what the bleep was he thinking? How did that happen? Where were you at? And again, I just didn't see it as some we watch UFC and we watch all these crazy violent sports and we see all kinds of stuff go on that's just absolutely insane. And then a coach just touches this dude's face mask. 40,000 tweets like in 5 minutes. I was like, damn. So that's where I want to know. Is it real outrage, fake outrage? Help me because I'm lost. Jay and Bill have called in at the First Bank phone line, 901-360-8255. Jay, you are up first to help explain to a moron.
Hey, man, this is UTJ.
Hey, UTJ. Thanks for calling in, my brother. By the way, Top Gun is the boom. Sorry.
Let me tell you this. We shouldn't even be talking about this. This is nothing but snowflake liberals, far leftists that's never played one snap of football, raising hell over him grabbing a face mask for 1.2 seconds.
Jay, again, that's what I'm trying to ask at first. Like I said, it was scary in the aspect of how many people jumped down this coach's throat for, again, something that I didn't see as a violent display. No. When I saw Vontaze Burfict almost behead, Antonio Brown, and there's 4,000 tweets. But anyway, it was kind of crazy.
Look, this is nothing but society that's turned soft. Look, I played the game for 14 years. Okay? It's a physical game. I got jerked around by my face mask. I can't tell you how many times. You think my mom and dad complained? No, they didn't. They were in the
probably
stand.
Liked it.
They're
like, somebody yank his head around.
No, men were men. Men were men, and we took it like men. But as society has progressed, we've gotten soft. We've gotten too much involved in the media and the press. I mean, football has been dumbed down to where it's going to be flag football in 2 years. I mean, you can't hit this, you can't hit that, fair catch this. They taken away the game.
Oh, you're going to be fascinated. Jay, you're going to be fascinated later on because in a minute, I know exactly where you stand, but I'm also going to ask a question you might be hitting back later on because I want to know are the officials actually worse? Or is it our TVs are just so much better we can actually realize it? Because I actually was watching on my nice television, like a 1970s replay. I couldn't tell jack that was going on, man. I could barely distinguish between the two teams. It was so bad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, and there's just so many questions. College football, it is coming to a foreground. And I think most of the football coaches and a lot of people have done a great job of saving it because there was a chance. But social media has a big, big power, Jay, and we are seeing it. And when that many people jump on one side, it's crazy how people are addressing it like I am in the first segment of my show today.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you're addressing it. But those that are jumping on it have never played the sport. They don't understand. They're armchair quarterbacks. Okay? The sport is a physical sport. Leave it a physical sport. Take away all these pansy penalties that these players get for just playing the game. The game was not designed. The game was not designed for a group of guys in a room decide what's legal, what's not legal, what's a hit, what's not a hit. I mean, they've dumbed it down, man.
They really have, Jay.
Football.
I feel you, brother.
Sad.
Hey, be good
it's
out
sad,
there, UT.
Man.
Hey, congratulations
right,
on Mississippi State again, and y'all fought hard against old Bama. And, man, I hope Tua's going to make it for that LSU game. But we know where my man UTJ stands. And again, I understand where Jay's coming from, but
can I sort of explain that? If he had done more than what he did, if he would have grabbed his face mask, extended, and started jerking him around with it, then there would be an issue, I think.
I agree.
But with what he did, this is completely fake. I don't see what he did in that situation that didn't show you that he knew he made a mistake. You know what I mean?
Like, I felt
that's
immediately,
yes.
Like Coach Pruitt was like, I mean, he saw him let go of the face mask, and then he continued to talk to the quarterback. But I mean, he didn't. Again, it just amazes me how little.
And a texter points out that Jimbo did the same thing. Against,
but he's winning
against Arkansas.
I was getting ready to say
and
that.
it was and nothing was made of it. And I do remember that. And I don't really think Jimbo was that out of line in his situation either. I don't think maybe out of line, but I don't think he did anything so bad that was so outrageous.
Well, did you see Dabo? I'm sorry, you said Jimbo, so you're talking about A&M. I'm talking about. Did you see Dabo this week? So did you see where the player got? I think he threw a punch. And anyway, yeah, he threw the punch. It was Andrew Booth Jr., the cornerback for Clemson. And by the way, this dude he had to ride a 6-hour bus to get home instead of fly on the plane. They made him ride with the managers. That was punishment. But, my man Dabo, he absolutely berates him. He doesn't put his hands on him, but he berates him and he makes him ride a bus.